We've all heard a lot in the last year about election fraud, even though there was very little of it the last time that Florida voters went to the polls.
An investigation is now underway into fraud, and it involves petitions to get expanded gambling in Florida to voters. Hundreds of thousands turned into election supervisors around the state are now deemed to be fraudulent. Broward's election supervisor, Joe Scott, is one of those sounding that alarm, and he joins us now live. Joe, good to see you.
Hi, good morning, Glenna and Michael. Great to be with you again.
Joe, we are glad you are. So these petitions that you suspect are fraudulent, fake, have 4 signatures. How many of them have you received?
Well over 60,000 at this point for one of the particular petitions that are out there. At this point, we're going to go ahead and seek an investigation into this. Because of the way the system is set up, it's hard to know whether or not people are actually trying to cause problems for the petition gatherers. So at this point, you don't know if it's the petition gatherers who are engaging in this activity and to what degree the actual political committee that's running the whole operation is. So it's hard to say exactly where the problem is, but there are easy solutions that could be put in place to make it so that these type of things don't happen.
Hey, Joe, before we go into solutions, I just want to make sure everyone's in the fold here and knows what we're talking about. So to get something on the ballot to put before voters, to put in the Constitution in November, there are several ways to do it, but only one for citizens, and this would be one of those, is to get enough petition signers to put it on the ballot in every single county in Florida. So in this particular effort to expand gaming, which is a huge pot of money all the way around, this particular ballot issue is being backed by the Las Vegas Sands and also an Alabama tribe that have put hundreds of thousands of dollars into getting petition signatures to get people to sign off and then put that on the ballot. So it's a heavy lift. It's February 1st is the deadline for you and your office and the other supervisors to verify all those signatures. And that's what brings us to, you're not able to verify them. In another county, there were found to be dead people's signatures, and one supervisor of election and his wife's signature that he said he didn't do. So what is it, the money in this particular ballot item vis-a-vis gambling? Is it all that money that's sort of creating this problem?
So what's really creating this gather petitions. You hit the nail right on the head, Glenna, when you said that this is the only system that we have that allows regular citizens to potentially get something on the ballot. However, the way that the laws are set up, it is specifically set up to, one, make it so that you need a tremendous amount of money in order to actually accomplish a ballot petition, an initiative drive. That's one problem. And the other problem is that the people who are gathering petitions, as well as the political committees who submit them, are not allowed to screen. So if somebody were to try and try to make the petition gatherers look bad by filling out bad petitions and giving them to the petition gatherer by law has to then turn that petition in. So they don't have so let's say they were out there and they actually met with a group of people and they said, hey, guys, fill it out. And let's say those people were in opposition, secretly in opposition, and they showed up to fill out bad petitions, they could do that. So there needs to be an investigation. We need to figure out exactly what happened, but we can't immediately jump to the conclusion that the folks who are gathering petitions are in the wrong, because they don't have the option of screening them. Once they're filled out, they have to turn them in.
Yeah, well, we should point out that Florida Secretary of State Laurel Lee has referred this to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, and I know Glenna was in touch with them this week, and they are basically confirming that they are looking into this for possible criminal charges. I mean, this is really serious stuff.
It is, absolutely. It is, absolutely. But the problem is that, of course, we do need to investigate. There needs to be an investigation to figure out exactly what happened, because we can't jump to the conclusion that because we're looking into this for criminal charges, that there is a particular party that has, it's probably too soon to come to a conclusion about who exactly was conducting the criminal activities.
So there is a real level of intrigue here, and this is the election fraud that people, I guess at this moment, should be concerned and focused on. But Joe, there are at least 15, a dozen or 15 other efforts to get questions on the ballot that are undergoing that petition process right now. So how is your office, one among 67, handling verifying the signatures for all of those efforts?
So what so we have actually over the past couple of months, we've been having, we've actually hired temps. We've been using overtime. Like, we've done a lot to try to make sure that we meet our obligation to process those petitions in a timely manner. So as we get, sometimes we'll get tens of thousands of petitions all at one time, and then we have to process those within 30 days. So it's really an effort to scale up our operations and get those petitions processed in time. Now, as I alluded to at the beginning of the segment, there are ways that this can be done. You know, we have the technology now that this can be done securely online. It eliminates this whole process of having people out there with paper and clipboards, gathering groups and getting people to fill out petition forms. Allow people to go online, do a secure sign in, and have the petitions verified that way. That would be far more efficient, far more secure than the process that we're doing now. The problem, the reason we can't do this is that the law doesn't allow it. The political will isn't there for us to change the law in a way that would allow us to gather petitions digitally in a secure digital way that would be far, far better than the process we're using right now.
So what you are receiving now at your office, and election supervisors in 6 other counties that have reported this problem, you get an individual sheet of paper submitted by a person who is paid well to collect signatures on petitions. Is that right?
Well, so one thing with the law is that they're actually not supposed to be paid per petition that they gather. So the process of hiring and paying people to go out and gather petitions, it has to be done in a way that doesn't pay them by petition. So that way you don't have an incentive for people to submit petitions that might get rejected, right? So the law already addresses that piece of it, that they're not supposed to get paid by petition. However, they're also not allowed to screen the petitions, as I mentioned earlier. So since once a petition gets filled out, they have to turn it into us. So if bad actors wanted to give them bad petitions to then turn into us, we would have to accept that. And all of that could be cleared right up by having a secure digital online version where people can go online, similar to the way we do voter registration now. So we now encourage people, when we have folks that go out and want to do voter registration on the paper forms, they're now required to tell you that you can go online and register to vote online. So, applying that same process to petitions would, of course, make this so that this whole problem that we're experiencing right now gets completely eliminated by allowing people to go and log in and securely do it online. Yeah. So that we know who the person is at the moment that they're filling out the petition.
Yeah. Joe Scout, Broward's election supervisor, always good to have you with us, and thanks for explaining this, and good luck to you and your staff dealing with this mountain of petitions, many of which appear to be fraudulent. Joe, thanks very much.
By February 1st. Joe, thanks.
Yes, thank you, Glenn and Michael, for having me on.